Yeah, let's start with the three couplets.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can start with the couplets and then
Okay.
Jai Ho.
Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai. Three of Meher Baba's favorite couplets of Hafiz, a mystical Persian poet. Befitting a fortunate slave, carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. About what you hear from the master, never say it is wrong, because, my dear, the fault lies in your own incapacity to understand him. I am slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. Whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Tar Meher Baba ki Jai. So, from a progress standpoint, we finished up to page 180. That's almost the entire operational part of the book. The supplement we have read in the past, and we'll just, I think, probably wrap up over today's session on reading the highlights of the supplement and some background information for the supplement, which we were doing, which we were actually in the middle of yesterday, right? So, meanwhile, I saw some comments that I thought I should share with you. So this is from one, literally hours after I put the video up. So let's travel to Kashmir with Nomita. I'm ready with my bag and packages. That's Neha. That's Neha. And of course, she has some ideas on how we can improve our reading, which are very good. I think keeping Lord Meher open uh, for a searchable way is a good idea. So yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get to let's get to the book. Yeah, so we are at the background notes or explanation concerning the supplement. We did up to, I think, note 3. Yeah, and we had fun understanding the circumflex character and the pronunciations. And
Yes.
now let's continue from there. Yeah, maybe I'll read for a bit and then you
Okay.
can continue. In order to save space, no extra entry has been included to show whether the person contacted is a must, a Salik-like pilgrim, etc., because this is generally made clear in the description. When the words poor, sadhus, or mad appear in the entry labeled known as, such a flagrant inconsistency will not, I hope, upset the reader's sense of fitness. These people are sadhus or poor or mad, and their names are either not known or have not been recorded. The alternative in these cases would have been to put names not known in the known as entry. But it would, I felt, have appeared ridiculous to have entered the words names not known against, for example, the description of the 7,000 sadhus contacted at Allahabad. The names of Mas and Salik-like pilgrims have been entered in the supplement in every place where they have been in contact with Baba. In addition, a complete list of all the contacts of any particular mast with Baba, anywhere in India or elsewhere, is given in the hometown of each mast. Thus, Ali Shah is entered under Ahmednagar, his hometown, where he will be found a record of all his various contacts in his hometown, where will be found a record of all his various contacts with Baba in different parts of India. His name will also be found entered under Hyderabad, Deccan, Meherabad, Satara, and many other places where he has been taken for work and contact with Baba. The only individuals who have not been entered in all the relevant places in this way are the inmates of the Mad Ashram at Rahuri, with one exception. All the inmates of Rahuri are entered and described under Rahuri only, principally because the hometowns of the majority of them are not known. Muhammad, because of his importance in Baba's work, is the exception to the single entry system of the Rahuri inmates, and his name appears in the supplement in all those places relevant to his work with Baba. In addition, the complete list of all the important dates of Muhammad's life with Baba is entered under Rahuri, which strictly speaking is not Muhammad's hometown, for he was brought to Rahuri from Bombay. It is because Muhammad was originally part and parcel of the Rahuri ashram that this complete list of dates is entered under Rahuri along with the descriptions of the other inmates of Rahuri. Okay. Concerning the column that contains the stars, two of them or one of them. This has been sufficiently explained in the fourth paragraph of the opening page of the explanation to the supplement. Yesterday we read it. Number 5, concerning the column labeled description. These descriptions were first culled from various disciples of Meher Baba. Meher Baba then read through each description, correcting many, adding to many, and in the majority of important cases, he also dictated an authoritative note concerning the type of mast and sometimes also a note about their spiritual advancement. Thus, whenever a man is described as on the sixth plane, as a Majzub like must, as a Jalali type must, as an advanced pilgrim, as a seeker, etc., etc., these descriptions have always been given by Meher Baba himself. Those musts and others who have been described in the main part of the book are mentioned in brief in the supplement. That is, the essential dates and so forth are always shown in the supplement in those places where they have worked with Baba. In order to avoid duplication, a note in the description column then refers the reader to the relevant chapter in the main part of the book where the description of the must or advanced soul in question may be found. The reader will observe that here and there in the supplement, certain remarks in the description column are written completely in italics. The significance of these remarks in italics becomes clear only when they are read in conjunction with the dates in line with them in the date of contact entry. The sixth note is regarding that. Concerning the entries labeled date of contact. The date or dates given here are those on which Meher Baba contacted the persons concerned. Now, in certain instances, particularly in the case of those musts who have been closely in contact with Baba, such as Muhammad, Ali Shah, Chatti Baba, and others, there are certain dates shown in the date of contact entry, which are not, strictly speaking, dates of contact, but are nevertheless key dates in the history of the work of these musts with Baba. In these cases, the dates are enclosed within brackets and the month is written in italics. Each date is given within the year first because this is generally the most certain and is followed by the month and day. When the month or the day is not known, it is omitted. When the year or month or day is doubtful, a question mark precedes the year or month or day that is in doubt. When a must has not been contacted personally and directly by Baba, but has been contacted by a disciple of Baba and is described here because he is interesting, no date is given in the date of contact entry. In such a case, the date is generally included in the description column. In addition, no dates are shown in the date entry. In the case of inmates of the Rahuri ashram, except Muhammad, these inmates were of course frequently contacted by Baba, but as the dates concerning them were not on record, it was not possible to include them in the supplement. Concerning the footnotes, there are miscellaneous notes that would not fit logically into any of the various columns. The additional supplement that is to be found at the end of the main supplement is separate from the main supplement because it describes contacts with spiritual agents outside India, now India and Pakistan. Those spiritual agents whom Baba had contacted in India are described in the main supplement itself. And I think with that, we start with the supplement. So, as we discussed yesterday, we'll probably read only the ones which have the asterisks in the description, because the rest we have actually read as we encountered the names in various places. Something that pops up as being interesting, we can always read, pick up and read, and we'll go with the flow. Yeah. So anybody wants to read? Sunil, are you in a position to read? Yesterday you weren't able to. Oh, it's Sanjay. Sorry. Sanjay ji.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's over to you from Mastani Mai. So we are at Agra E5.
Okay. Agra, I did my college. Okay.
Ah, see.
Oh,
Good.
So Mastani Mai, a really high Mastani. She lives alone in some ancient and disused stables, about a quarter of a mile from the famous Taj Mahal. As Baba and his attendant approached the stable, guided by a gardener from the Taj Gardens, they heard a noise like the roaring of a tiger. When they came close, they found an old lady, but though old, she was a big, strong woman. Her arms were covered with bangles, and she had a bright, attractive face. And she was pacing to and fro, roaring in this extraordinary fashion, making gestures all the while with her hands. When Baba arrived, she stopped roaring and greeted Baba with respect and seemed happy to meet him. Baba told Iraj to ask her if she felt happy, and she replied that she was very happy to see them. Baba was obviously very glad to contact her and said that she was a very high Mastani. She has since passed away. Mastani Mai.
So this was 1941 March
Yeah,
1st.
March
Uh,
1st, 19.
just to give you context on how this book is structured, the whole number of pages are 548. We have read 225 and we have just started the supplement. So bulk of the book is actually in the supplemental detail about each of the musts, right? Uh, so we will read the ones that have one or two asterisks and anything else that catches our fashion. So I'll just scroll down a bit. Yeah, here's another one. Name not found.
On returning to the streets of Agra, after seeing the boy described above, Baba passed by and pointed out the only God-intoxicated one in Agra, and added that he was a Mazhub like Mast of the sixth plane, seen again on their return from Kashmir on 16th August 1929. Oh, it's very old. 1929, July
mm.
29, and
Yeah.
August 16.
I think we can read
Again in
the
Agra.
top paragraph also.
Once again in Agra.
Yeah, I think like it refers to the boy above, so we can read this as well. Correct.
And he is a boy at the sixth plane. That's
Mm.
also, normally we connect that he has to be somebody very old.
Yeah, exactly. So we
Okay,
can read this one and then
okay,
because that's what is referred. Yeah.
okay, sorry. A boy, naked, save for a lying cloth, with ashes on his body, pointed out by Baba as he stood by a sweetmeat shop in the Kirana Bazaar. Baba said that he was on the second plane.
This was the first contact, 19th,
Yeah.
29 July 1929, and then second was in August.
Okay.
So next we'll do Tin Pot Baba. Okay. This one. Badshah Bapu.
Badshah Bapu. Which is this place again, Agra?
Agra, yes.
Baba called him Tin Pot Baba because he sat in a hollow at the side of a street with a tin pot in front of him. Baba compared him to Wazir Baba of Nasobhavadi and said that he was a very good must, short, plump, and old. He has now passed away. 1941 January and 1941 July.
Sorry, this is Ahmedabad. My apologies. I thought it was Agra.
Okay, okay.
This is Ahmedabad, and he's referring to Narsobhavadi, which is in Maharashtra. Yeah. The other comparable, Wazir Baba. Then we have the Ali Shah, Baba's favorite, one of the favorites.
Yeah. This July, okay,
Yeah. It doesn't have an asterisk, so I'm passing.
okay.
Yeah, Baba Jan.
A
Ahmed
fleeting
Baghi.
encounter between two Sadgurus, Hazrat Babajan and Shri Meher Baba. Baba was being driven from Toka to Nasik when near the tomb of a well-known saint, Bapu Sahib of Ahmednagar, another car from the opposite direction passed, in which was Hazrat Baba San. Both cars slowed down and then sped ahead without stopping. Oh, 1929, October 3.
Another fleeting
It was in
encounter.
Ahmednagar. So this was after Baba was in Ahmednagar. So it was just a brief encounter in car. Yeah. Another fleeting encounter was 2 days later when Baba was returning from Nasik to Choka. Baba stopped for a brief rest at a devotee's house in Ahmednagar. At about 1:30 in the afternoon, Baba went into a special room to rest, and after a few moments suddenly emerged from the room. In October 5, 1929, there we are, and sat alone on a chair in the compound. All kept at distance, thinking that he did not wish to be disturbed. In a minute, the reason why Baba gone into the compound was understood, for a car came fast from the public road and stopped suddenly in front of Baba. An expression of joy spread over Baba's face, and those present saw that Baba Jan was inside the car. Baba, in reply to query about this visit and the previous one, said simply, Baba Jan came here again, and so I am freed. Nobody knows what does it mean.
Wow. Wow. Whatever it means. It's Baba's words.
This is in 1929.
Yes,
Okay.
29. 3rd and 5th October, 2 times. So next is Mia Sahib, Ajanta.
Yeah. A very advanced must, who is renowned throughout the adjacent countryside. He looks to be perhaps 70 or 80 years old, but locally people say that he is over 100. He is so respected to Ajanta that he is given whatever he asks. A local Marwari has given him a garden. Baba drove over to Ajanta from Aurangabad, and when the party arrived and one of the group introduced the topic of a contact with Baba, Mia Sahib suggested the use of a room, the upper floor of a certain Khoja's house. This Khoja, who was then present, was overjoyed in the compliment and rushed off to get the key of the house. The key was brought, and the door opened. Baba and the must climbed to a room on the upper floor and were there for some time. When Mia Sahab took Baba into the room, he invited him to sit upon a sofa, then sat next to Baba and embraced him very lovingly and wept aloud. Those waiting below heard the must weeping, and once he cried out Persian couplet, Khud be khud azad budi, khud giriftar amadi, which means, in free translation, you became free and then allowed yourselves to be bound. This refers to Baba's infinite state and how he became bound of his own will to help humanity.
Date of this contact is 1944 November.
Yes. And these two gel in the reading. So when he said, Baba John has freed me, then
Yeah,
here is the anecdote. Yes.
correct. So Ajanta, then Ajmer, and one more here. Name not known.
Which town it is?
This one, Ajanta, Ajmer. Sorry.
Ajmer.
Baba was in town to contact Mast, and this fellow cried out, pointing to Baba, Oh, look, Shankar has come. Take God darshan, all of you, in February 1939.
Oh, so he said, "Oh Lord, oh look, Shankar has come. Take God's darshan, all of you." Wow. This is Ayodhya, spelled as Ajodhya. Okay, Gariwala.
Yeah. An old man with no teeth, who for 25 years has remained in a small hut that has been constructed to look or rather like a railway carriage, even to having wheels. The local people serve him and bring him water and food, and he never leaves the hut. He is initiate pilgrim and is much revered locally. This is basically Gadiwala Baba because his carriage is like a Gadi,
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Gaudiwala.
1942 March.
And the interesting part is he says he's a initiate pilgrim. So
Mm.
he's not in the plains yet, but he's
Okay.
obviously advanced but revered locally. So interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Baba must have seen the potential.
Something, yes. Ajodhya continued, then Akola, Aland, Ale, Aligarh. So there are two back to back, Agniwala and name not known.
An old Musk who lives in a deserted room that was once a shop. He keeps 5 or 6 puppies and always has a fire Agni in the room. He asked for firewood from Baba, who gave him one
Mount.
mound to keep up of it. Okay. And the Mast himself carried the load of wood on his head from the wood stall to his room. Baba also fed him. And as usual with these Musts who keep dogs with them, Agniwala Baba first fed the puppies and then allowed himself to be fed. A good must. Agniwala means because he used to have fire. Yeah,
Fire.
fire kept burning. Then there is another which his name is not known. A bearded man looking like a Muslim who stood smartly to attention when Baba and his party of Mandli passed by in their bus. Baba pointed him out as the spiritual chargeman of Aligarh. This curious, fleeting contact was one of many on the bus trip to Kashmir in the summer of 1929.
This again happens in 1929, July 22 in Aligarh. But this is interesting. So there's some obviously significance to the statement. Must who keep dogs, the dogs are fed first, and then Baba feeds the must. So there must be some reason for that as well. Allahabad, we have Bashir, Mastan, and Nanga Mast.
This must was particularly important because he is one of the three in India of the sixth type of must described in chapter 1. He is also the spiritual chargeman of Allahabad and is completely naked, elderly, and of shortish stature. He is always to be found in the middle of the bazaar and is great lover of pan. He was rather reluctant to come to Baba's contact, but was eventually contacted in the dispensary of a doctor who liked the must and whom the must also liked. He is very good must, and as explained in chapter 1, he combines the characteristics of a first type of must. He is, of course, one of the must who would like to know more about. One would like to know more about. This is in October 1941 at Allahabad. And there is Nanga must, Nanga sadhu, a naked sadhu whom one might believe to be a must, but who is in fact an advanced pilgrim. Abba said that he was on the fourth plane. He walked with his eyes turned upwards so that only the whites could be seen, and it was a puzzle how he managed to walk like this without colliding with people and objects. This contact was at the time of the Kumbh Mela in December 1941. Kaka arranged for Baba to sit with Nanga Mas in an empty tent, the Kumbh Mela, and after about half an hour, he crawled out and unexpectedly from under the side of the tent and walked away. His conversation was irrational. Baba said of him that he was a big saint. December 31st, 1941.
Alwar, Rajasthan, Ambala, and there are two here in Ambala.
These are not in orange, but why I don't know. Okay. This is in which place? Ambala.
Ambala.
Hafiz G, an old man who hangs plates and tins and odd brick aback on the branches of a tree in the shade of which he sits. He was brought to the traveller's bungalow for Baba's contact, Moderate Must, August 3, 1946. And Malang sign, as he is, Baba said, the highest must in Ambala. A Pathan, tall like most Pathans, clean shaven. He wears a dirty old hat and an overcoat, which he never removes throughout the year, even in the hottest weather. Each night he sleeps in a bakery. May 3, then once again in August 1946.
Ambala, again, there are two. No, one in Ambala, then Amber.
Which is this place now? Ambala.
Ambala.
Top Khana Wala Baba. The tall, dark skinned, naked mask with black, bushy hair. He lives on the Maidan, a piece of open ground in all seasons, in rain or shine, and he has about a dozen dogs constantly around him, which he feeds first of all. He sometimes invites local shepherds who graze their cattle and goats in the Maidan, take a tea with him if he is in that sort of mood. He is very good master, with whom Baba sat for 45 minutes. August 8, 1946.
This is
Okay.
another Nanga Baba in Amber.
Amber.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Amber, I think. It's called Amber, Rajasthan.
Okay. This must was first pointed out by Baba to the ladies group on their way into Jaipur. in February 1939. Baba ordered Elizabeth to stop the bus in front of Great Place fortress that stands on a rock high over the road at Ajmer, so that the party might watch a procession of the Maharaja's guards who were at that moment going up into the into the palace to the accompaniment of martial music. This naked Mast, with his mass of tangled hair and carrying a staff in his hand, reminiscent of a picture of Saint John the Baptist, was then pointed out by Baba, coming slowly down the hill on the opposite side of the valley, and was described by Baba as the spiritual chargeman of Jaipur, a very advanced soul. In January or February 1941, when Baba and his group again stayed in Jaipur, Iraj was sent to try to bring the Mast to Baba. Iraj describes him. He is completely naked and carries a forked stick with his bits of dirty rag tied to it. He lives on a mountain facing the Amber Palace, and each morning he comes down to the Amber village, takes some sweetmeats from a shopkeeper who gives them to him, and speaking to no one, returns to his mountain. About halfway up the mountain, at a small temple where there is a spring of water, he eats the sweetmeats. Okay, drinks water, and then goes up to his mountain top. At this little temple, he used each day, after refreshing himself with sweets and water, to make mud balls. I asked him what these were for, and he told me that he was ordered to throw these fireballs on big cities in other parts of the world. And because of this, he was very busy and couldn't come with us. I then asked him what his peculiar fox stick was for, and he replied that the stick and the knots on the old racks on it helped him to aim and point towards the cities on which he threw the fireballs. He told me to go away, but he promised to come for contact one day when he visited Jaipur. I tried with more persuasions to get Nanga Baba to come with me at once, but he refused and hit me. A few days later, however, the Mast was spotted by Iraj, the same person, right? Yeah. Coming along the road past Baba's bungalow in Jaipur, and he was coaxed into the garage and contacted by Baba. So he kept his promise, though he usually never came to Jaipur at all.
The date of this contact was 1939, February 8th, or Jan and Feb. Okay, Amboli, Champia.
You could read this, Karthik.
Sure,
I can come back again after a few
sure,
minutes. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I could read, or Mamaji, you want to read?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please.
Amboli C10 Jampia, 1940 April. He was picked up by Baba on the roadside near Belgaum during the bus trip from Bangalore to Mehrabad in April 1940. His behavior seemed more like that of a mischievous monkey than a human being, and Baba said that it was not his fault but was due to the difficulty of reconciling his physical consciousness with his spiritual state. He used to squat next to anyone eating, and if they diverted their attention from their plate for more than a few seconds, Jampia would plunge his hand into their plate and purloin a huge handful of food, which he would at once force into his mouth and swallow as soon as possible. He would throw shoes out of windows, pull hooks out of walls, work shelves loose from their brackets, bang loose things about, and generally be tirelessly active and restless by night and day. He would climb onto high shelves by some simian skill and squat there to everyone's consternation. He would pick up his own ordure, fling it vertically in the air, and try to stand so that it fell down on his head. He was an impossible fellow, more funny in retrospect than he was at the time, since he nearly drove everyone crazy during the few days. Just to move it up, few days. He was impossible fellow, more funny in retrospect than he was at the time, since he nearly drove everyone crazy during the few days he was there. Eventually, he was sent back to Belgaum, as he was really too much to manage. His talk was a babble that no one understood.
Okay, three tough words, but I think this we encountered earlier, and I remember it. Ordure.
Okay.
Then purloin is just stealing, so stealing the food. Then there's one more in the
The
middle.
consternation.
Simian.
Consternation.
Yeah. Simian is monkey-like.
Monkey-like. Yes, yes.
Monkey family, correct.
And consternation.
Everyone's, yeah, I mean, it's basically irritation or
Okay.
that kind of, it's anger actually.
Anger. Okay.
A feeling of anxiety or dismay, typically at something unexpected. To her consternation, her car wouldn't start, as an example. Yeah. And this contact happened in 1940 April, Jampia. So this is close to, I think, Belgaum, but let's just confirm.
Amboli.
C10. So you have A, B, C, and 10. Yeah. So there it is, near the coast. So it's actually, though it's close to Belgaum, it's more the Goan coast. Yeah, it is Goa, Panjim, Amboli, north of Panjim. So it's closer to Goa today. In today's terms, it's Goa. In fact, 1947, Goa was not even part of India.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 1948.
Amboli continued. Narayan Bhar, a god-mad Brahmin brought from Narsabwadi to Amboli, where Baba and his party stayed a few days. He was an entertaining conversationalist of a crazy sort, mixing English, which he knew quite well, with Sanskrit, Marathi, and Hindi. He was a learned man who had become god-mad. He accompanied the party to Sakarpur, but after having been found by Gustaji in the middle of the night at the top of a tall tree in the dark bungalow garden, it was thought better to send him back to Narsabwadi since Gustaji found him too difficult to control. 1940 April.
From there, it is Amravati.
Dada Mian. Sagan tried to persuade Dada Mian to come to the Jabalpur ashram in April 1939, but he declined and said, "He, Baba, is the emperor. How can I come?" Yes, we had read about.
Yes.
Amritsar, Bala Sain, a good must, a very old man.
Sign. And is just like in
Ah,
There's Mian, there's Mia actually. It's a
Uh-huh.
sign. In Punjab,
Fine.
it is
yeah.
respectful,
Yes.
But,
Allah sign. A good must, a very old man, tall, dark-skinned, naked, face and head shaven, who sits by the edge of a dirty gutter near an old shrine. He anoints his body sometimes with fragrant oils and sometimes with henna, and is occasionally seen throwing dust over his head and shoulders. By birth, he is a Khoja.
what is the
1946.
Khoja? This is also came before. There was the
Yeah.
Khoja who offered his house for
I
meal.
think it is a sect within the Muslims, but
Khoja Muslims, right?
Khoja Muslim, but we'll just check what it is. Yeah.
Jai Baba. In
Yes.
in Kashmir also there are Khojas. Khojas are, basically, kind well-to-do Muslims. I think so.
Okay.
So,
They are converted,
our language.
converted from Hinduism to Islam. That's what it is.
So in our language they say, why you acting like a Khoja, as if you are an accomplished, as if you are rich or accomplished man. Stop
Okay.
acting like a Khoja.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. We call just a UP may we call it don't act like a Chaudhary,
This one is Chaudhary.
Khoja.
Okay, Jai Baba.
Okay, so specifically, it looks like the word Khoja is used to refer to members of the Baniya caste. So they were earlier Baniyas, Vaishyas, who converted to Islam from Hinduism under Muslim peers. In India, most Khojas live in the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and the city of Hyderabad. So that's Khoja for you. So
Khoja. Okay.
interesting.
खोजा को खोज लिया.
Yes. Kala sign.
Kala sign, an adept pilgrim famous in Amritsar, reputed to be about 110 years old. He has normal consciousness and is not therefore a must but an adept pilgrim. But in spite of his normal consciousness, he barely okay, move it.
Yeah.
Speaks to anyone. At the first two contacts, he was in a shrine in a wild and lonely place on the outskirts of Amritsar. But in 1946 was found sitting naked in the shade of a tree. Baba liked him very much. Kala's sign. This is in 1946, I think. 42,
No,
43, 46.
three
So yes,
contacts.
contacted thrice.
Okay, this is Amritsar still. One name not known.
Name not known. Contacted on a bridge in Amritsar during the bus trip from Jaipur to Quetta in March 1941. Baba stopped the car when he saw him. He looked rather like Chatti Baba, but he had a very fair complexion and there was a prodigious grin on his face when Baba got down to contact him. His voluntary attendant, Mujawar, said that he had been expecting someone since morning and had himself cleaned out his hut for his prospective visitor.
And this happened in 1941 March.
Yes.
From
They
there,
seem to have
Angiras.
some sort of a some alien contact method with the master and the must.
Yeah, I think some of them figure it out. Some of them are expecting Baba. Some of them are surprised. And if you recollect, there's even one of them who was scared. Was
Scared.
scared to meet Baba. So yeah, so it's very interesting. So Aurangabad, Anuradhapura. Anuradhapura is in Sri Lanka. Aurangabad. Yeah, here this Karigar Baba.
Karigar Baba, 1943 January. More eccentric than advanced, he wears a monstrous turban the size of a parasol and does not allow people to sit cross-legged before him. For if he, for if they do so, he orders them to uncross their legs. If he sees stones piled untidily in the streets, he puts them straight, and by day he doesn't speak. He has a disciple who plays the stringed Indian instrument. Karigar Baba.
And this happened in 1943, January 30. Karigar, because maybe he's readjusting these stones on the road, maybe, I don't know. Or maybe he had also some artistic bent. Then Aurangabad, one more, My Bap.
My Bab brought to Khuldabad Dak Bungalow where Baba was staying about 15 miles from Aurangabad, 1939 May. Brought to Baba's bungalow for contact several times, 1943 January. This high must was first discovered by Kaka in Aurangabad in May 1939, and he was brought to Baba, who was then staying at the state guest house at Khuldabad. He was a dirty fellow whose peculiarity was to collect a miscellany of 25 to 30 bundles of old rags and stale food. If you asked him his name, he would reply, My Bap, mother, father, my Bap. And then he was known by that name. And hence he was known by that name. If given any new clothes, he would wear them for a few days and then make a bundle of them. He was then middle-aged and lived in a house of some relations of his in Aurangabad. Baba bathed, clothed, and fed him, and while he was in the room alone with Baba, he shouted out once or twice, I am on fire, I am aflame. When Kaka took him back to just move it up. Uh, I am on fire. When Kaka took him back to Aurangabad later the same day in Elizabeth car, he asked my Bab where he had eaten, and he received the reply, Today I came to God's court and was given food. In January 1943, when Baba stayed for a few days in a cottage in Aurangabad, my Bab was brought by Adi for renewed contact. He sat alone with Baba in a room for about 20 minutes and then rushed out of the room shouting, in this jungle there are many thorns. Again he was persuaded to sit with Baba for perhaps a further 15 minutes, and he then came out again and said, A nail has pierced me, I can't bear the pain. Kaka believes these remarks to show that Baba had given my Bab some difficult and painful spiritual work. Rather, similar remarks were occasionally made by Chatti Baba, indicating that he was helping Baba with spiritual problems and that sometimes the burden was more than he could bear.
Oh, this is still continued here, yeah.
Continued. Baba never responds to questions about what must do for him and what he does for them, apart from the statement that there is mutual help. After this, my Baba was taken back to his home, and Baba told Kaka to bring him daily for 7 days. My Baba, although he had not been present when Baba gave these instructions to Kaka, told Kaka a few minutes later, I will come with you for 7 days, and then touched Kaka's palm with the back of his hand, which means a dead promise. Next day, he refused to come with Kaka, and Baba therefore went to him every evening at his own house.
And the day,
Khultabad, we know, na? Khultabad at Aurangabad. There
uh-huh.
is a shrine of Zari Zari Baksh, who was
Okay.
the guru of Sai Baba. So
Mhm.
Oh,
that's Baba had gone to that place, and I think he secluded also for some time at that place. So this is
okay.
very interesting to know about Kuldabad. It's a very spiritually charged place, it seems. And
Indeed.
during the return tour from New Life, also Kuldabad was covered, if I'm not wrong.
Interesting.
Okay.
Thanks for that nugget. So these contacts happened in 1939 May and 1943 Jan. Uh, Tell me if you want to rotate, Mama. It's okay.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
yeah,
somebody.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So,
Kama
Nobita
is
ji,
there. Kama.
whoa, that's a surprise. The JK.
So
Yeah, Baba, yes.
another must joins us.
Ex-
Jai
Not
I
Baba,
was
Jai Baba.
tempted to say that.
Jetetic joins us. Jai Baba. Jai Baba Kamaji. Welcome.
So, Nobita ji, you want to read for some time?
Jai Baba, I don't know. Somehow I can't see the text.
Oh,
I can only see myself. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm on phone. I would have loved to read it, but I'm technologically not
Oh,
up to the mark.
damn, I forgot to
Yeah,
send you the book.
let me read this one paragraph. Okay.
Sure.
One or two. Yeah.
Okay.
Maulavi Abdul Wahab Mudaris. This is which place? Let us reconnect ourselves.
Aurangabad.
Aurangabad. Okay. Of Python. Python is close to Ahmednagar. Yeah. Baba and a small group had gone to Python to make arrangements for giving charity to thousands of poor people in Python. They met this man in Python and brought him back to Aurangabad in their car. He was employed as a schoolmaster and still drew a salary, though he never worked properly at his job. He used only to tell the boys to repeat, "There is no God but the one God." And he would sometimes give them roasted grain and exhort them to pray. An attendant, a peon, was provided by the state authorities who would take him once a day to the school to sign the register there. In this first meeting, Abdul Wahab explained to Baba and Baidul that he had previously been in a mazhub like state and he had written some notes about the spiritual experience. His state was his, his state now fluctuates and is sometimes salik like and sometimes mazhub like. The government pays his wife the greater part of his salary, and about 15 rupees a month are given to shopkeeper who is made responsible for feeding him. Baba liked him. He was contacted a few days later in Python, where he was given clothes and money and sent home. On reaching Aurangabad at the first meeting, he asked them to be dropped in the bazaar and promised to come to Baba later the same day. He slipped off, however, and Baidul found him eventually at some wayside station and brought him back to Baba in Aurangabad. So Python is
Interest-
a very famous place. There is a sari that they produce, which is called
That's what I
Pythani.
was reminded.
Pythani, which
I,
is a nine yard sari.
I was
Python is
not sure. I was not
yeah,
sure of that. So even yesterday when
yes,
we came across the name, I thought of Paithani, but I
correct.
didn't know. I didn't know that.
And
Yeah.
from
Uh,
Bombay, in the earlier times when I used to take a state transport bus, there are some buses which go to Python and pass through Ahmednagar. So I didn't know it. Mumbai
Interesting.
Python bus. That's it.
Interesting. 1944, March 14th is the main contact. Subsequent contacts again in 1944.
Yeah.
So this is a photograph of the next asterisk must. He is Qutub Shah, also called Captain of Aurangabad. Note the bundle of rags behind him. Right. So let's go read that. And then we can rotate to maybe Ashish.
Okay. Ashish has come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Qutub
yeah,
Shah,
sure.
captain. An old, thin, stout man, very dirty indeed, wearing filthy old clothes, who sits on the porch of a pleader's house and says, Jao, jao, go away to everyone. He keeps bundles of rags. He is a very good mazhoop-like must of the sixth plane and is unconscious of his bodily functions. The pleader personally washes him and keeps him as clean as the must allows. See photograph, 1943 January. Okay, Ashish, you can read from now. Badri Baba.
Yeah.
The place is Badnera. Given that it's a new place, let's just check where Badnera is. Hold on.
Badnera is near to Amravati.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Part of
that's
Amravati. It's just part of Amravati actually.
oh, okay. Badnera. That should be somewhere here, right?
Yeah, Amravati and yes,
Amravati,
yes,
Very
near
close to
Badnera.
Amravati.
Badnera.
Amravati,
Yeah.
It's
Badnera.
the railway station is called Badnera. City is
Yes.
called Amravati. It's like
Ah,
that.
Correct.
okay.
Yeah. And Amravati is typically a film distribution center also.
Oh, really?
Which
Yeah,
center?
yeah. Film distribution. A lot of film distribution.
Yeah, it used to happen. Yes, it used to happen.
Yeah.
Like the distributors and all.
I don't know
It used
now,
to
but
happen.
earlier, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to happen long time back. I am from Amravati actually.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've been to Amravati once. Yeah. Yeah, go.
okay. And there's a very big
That's
program in Amravati.
November.
November. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went to
Okay.
HVPM actually. HVPM. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a famous. It's a very
Sports
famous
college.
HUB. Patnera E7 Badri Baba, an old man and a very good mast, a blind mazhoop like and salik like types who used to stand for 1 or 2 days at a stretch in one place and in one position. Sometimes he would lie in one place for 2 or 3 days. At the second contact, he was given 6 cups of milk. He is in Juna village, a few miles from Badnera. It is 1944 July to 1944 August 12. Then Badnera again, E7, Kali Kamliwala Baba.
So that's not with an asterisk, right? We'll read only the ones that have
Asterisk.
the asterisk,
Okay.
yeah. Either black or orange right now. Because we don't know why some are black, but we'll read them.
no, maybe the printing, they might
Yeah.
have made it black.
Yeah, most likely.
So
Because,
color.
yeah.
Sakhi Baba is from
Yeah, this is it,
Bahrain.
Bahrain. Where is
Bahrain.
Bahrain?
Right.
Let me first get everything in one window. Bahrain. What was it?
It was F5.
F5. F5. Five. UP. Huh? Yeah, UP looks like. Yeah, there it is near Gonda,
Oh,
northern
Nepal.
UP. Northern UP.
Shahjahanpur. Gunda.
Yeah,
Maybe now it's Uttarakhand probably
probably.
near to
Yes.
Nepal.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Sakhi Baba, a most interesting man and a good mast, a perfect Mahbubi mast. He's very fat old man who carries an earthenware pot in which he puts everything given him to eat, and he carries a sack over his shoulder. He reminded the party of a fat edition of Chatti Baba. When Baba came, he took some bells out of his bundle tied them round his ankles, and began dancing before Baba, singing in a very sweet voice, Allah darshan dene ko aaye. God has come to give his darshan. Those with Baba called a Tonga, and Saki Baba was taken to Shrine outside the town where Baba contacted him. He had previously sat naked in one place, 1945 October 16, for 12 years, eating anything or nothing. He is now an old man, wears clothes and wanders about the town a good must. 1942 March.
19. Good must, he
Hey,
says.
Baba. Now, what is the meaning of that term good, or who is qualifying that? What is the standards for that qualification? I don't know.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
not defined in the supplement. Strangely, he has been clinical otherwise.
Maybe uh, Jamali or silent musts are known as good musts.
Maybe.
Jamalis are not good musts, probably.
By the way, the other thing that was mentioned is he's a Mahbubi. So anybody want what Mahbubi is?
Oh, be
Quiz question.
Yes, my booby,
Mahbub.
my booby.
You have to go to your first classification.
Yeah, so I'll bring that up, but basically Mahbubi is somebody
Some
who
moderately rare feminine attire,
feminine,
bangles,
exactly.
uh,
Feminine is the keyword. The keyword is has feminine attributes.
Oh,
mild mannered, talks read only, always cheerful. I have a
Bobby.
screenshot actually. I take the screenshot a long time back while
Okay,
just
good.
reading that one. Yeah.
Okay. You want to share that, or I'm just opening my copy as well? For some reason, it's not opening. 1 second.
Yeah, let me attach it, chat. Hmm, I don't get the attach option here.
Karthik, we have a guest. No mom. N. No mom.
Oh, okay. I didn't observe.
That's Nomita, I think.
No,
Yeah,
Mita is it?
that's Nita. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not able to attach actually.
No, I got
Oh,
it. I got it.
I sent actually. I sent. Oh no.
Okay. But anyway, I got it as well. So if you go to the types of musts, you have the Mahbubi, who is moderately rare, feminine attire, bangles, generally sometimes wearing bangles, mild mannered. So again, possibly Jamali type, talks randomly, always cheerful, and then loves chai, loves pan, right?
Ah,
So general characteristics of Mahbubi. Okay, let's go back. Yeah.
I think we're near to Ceylon. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is Bandaravela. This is one of the three places that's not on the map because it's if you remember, he said Vayangoda, Kandi, and Bandaravela. Anuradhapura we encountered earlier, but it's on the map. So this is south of southern half of Sri Lanka, the three places, and one of them is Bandaravela. Let's go to Bandaravela now.
Yeah, Bandarvela, Ceylon, name not known. A strange meeting that struck those present as significant. Baba and party, having arrived from the west, went up to Bandarvela from Colombo. There, Baba wanted to enter a Buddhist temple. A young man told Baba to remove his shoes, and there was a discussion about this. Thereupon, a very old man emerged from a hut opposite the cave and told the young man to let Baba and his group enter the temple without removing their shoes. The old man then exchanged some peculiar signs with Baba, pointing to a wooden bedstead outside the house, then to the mattress on the bed, then on the ground. In reply, Baba told him to await orders until he returned. Baba later explained that he was on the fourth plane, was one of his agents who was in charge of Central Ceylon, and that he would promote him to the fifth plane before leaving Ceylon. He was an indirect agent for the definition of which see the additional supplement at the end of his supplement, 1933 January. Wow. Wow. So he was
Wow.
the agent.
No, but indirect agent, that's new, right? So there are direct agents and indirect agents. Okay, Bangalore has a footnote, but yeah, Baba and party arrived in Bangalore on 12th August 1931 and left on 1st 1940. But we read the whole Bangalore chapter. Yeah, so in Bangalore again, Ghafoor Sahib.
I'm not able to see, I can see on the screen only on the blank page, 200 page number. Everybody able to see?
I can see
You can see Ghafoor Sahib, right?
Ghafoor Sahib of Old Madras.
You're on mobile. If you're on mobile, maybe it is expanded or something.
No, I'm on laptop actually. Let me just give me 1 minute. Let me rejoin.
Yeah, no problem. I will read this section meanwhile as we wait for that. Ghafoor Sahib of Madras brought to Bangalore for 1 day, and this happened in 1931 September, and a question mark before the number 6, which means that September and 1939 are sure. Sixth is not sure, but it's tentative, right? So, like we understood in the supplement, this must is a good one and is peculiar as a rare mixture of the Jalali and Mahbubi types. He is an old man who has bangles on his arms and usually wears a piece of a woman's bodice. Again, Mahbubi wears bangles. He also smears slaked lime on his body. He was first contacted by Baba in September 1939 when Adi and Kaka, on Baba's instructions, motored to Madras in order to bring 1 or 2 masts to the Bangalore Mast Ashram. They found Ghafoor and, being told that he was fond of flowers, enticed him into the car by means of these and then drove off at once to Bangalore. After but 1 day at Bangalore, Baba suddenly ordered Adi to drive him back post haste to Madras. When they reached there, they discovered that the man who had helped them to find Ghafoor had been the victim of very serious threats. It seems that a number of Pathans who respected Ghafoor as a great must had threatened this man that if he did not produce Ghafoor within 2 days, they would kill him. Adi and Kaka arrived with Ghafoor before this threat was put into effect, and one can almost hear the cry of relief that the anxious man must have uttered when Ghafoor was brought back so unexpectedly. The Pathans who had uttered these threats were also repentant. In short, all was well that ended well. This must was contacted again by Baba in Madras itself in 1945. See Madras. So I remember reading this because this was referred, and there was a mention that we should read this in the supplement in the main text when Bangalore Mast Ashram was talked about. So there are many more Bangalores. There's Ramashish. Ramshish, is Ashish back? Or I'll continue.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
I'm
can see?
back.
Yeah, you can read.
Yes. Ramshish arrived at the Bangalore Mast Ashram from Belgaum, left Bangalore for Mehrabad with the other inmates of the Mast Ashram, 1914 April. When Ramashish was first brought to Bangalore, he gave the impression of being nothing but hair from the neck up, bushy black hair tied in a bunch off the top of his head, bushy black beard and mustache so that one could see only his nose and two dazzled bright eyes peeping out between these tangled masses of hair. He had very little body sense and allowed himself to be shaved and bathed by Baba, whereafter he became apparently more cognizant of his environment. The real change, however, came after a mildly startling episode. Ramashish and yeah, Ramashish and Fulwala used to share one room in the Mast Ashram, and they would sometimes lock themselves in. themselves in their room. One evening, Fulwala left a lighted country cigarette on his bed, and his mattress caught fire. The shouts of Fulwala were suddenly heard, and Ramashish, who up to that time had always remained almost entirely silent, began shouting also. The two of them eventually bethought themselves to fling open the door, which they had fastened from within, so that Eraj and the boys were able to run in and extinguish the fire. After this episode, Ramashish began speaking quite often and would join in ashram life, play games, listen to the music, and he would sometimes sing. He had good voice and an attractive smile. He was a moderate must. Date of contact, I think it's went up.
Yeah.
It was yeah 1939 October 10 and 1940 April.
So in brackets means again, what does in brackets mean? There was some description in the supplement, I think. So from Bangalore, it's Bankura. Bankura is in Bengal. Bansi. Yeah.
Bansi Baba. Bansi I6 map reference. Bansi Baba, an adept yogi of great age. Baba and his party underwent a deal trouble to reach his village, which is some miles from Bansi. And for the final 2 miles, they had to walk through rice fields, which, when flooded as these were, are heavy going. Bansi Baba lives in an upper room, and an old woman known as Mai, mother, serves him. Every day, scores of people come from surroundings district for Bansi Baba's darshan, which is given at a particular hours. Eraj, however, found Mai at the back of the house, and she interacted with Bansi Baba that they might be allowed to see him at once. On all, on all these must-dos, one must remember Baba's real name is never given, and the Mandali refer to Baba as their elder brother, and they play the part of a group of brothers or friends who have come from Bombay to visit Sant and Masts. They were taken upstairs to a very dimly lit light room, of which the darkness was the first thing that struck them. At one end of the room, Bansi Baba was sitting on a kind of uh, throne, one foot resting on a footstool. Yeah, throne, one foot resting on a footstool. He seemed very bright in the dark room, and there was an overwhelming feeling of a peace and love which those with Baba felt strongly. He was naked to the waist and wear a brown turban, a short dhoti, and costly sandals. People in Bansi do not know his age, but he believed to be about 250 years old. He sits quite still on the throne, like chair, as if he were a statue. He is very, very thin, mere bone and integument, but there are no wrinkles on his fair skin, so that Baba, in describing him, said that he looked like a wax. His aspect was mostly kingly, for his presence dominated that dark room, and the bliss and peace that he radiated made him a memorable personality. Baba said that they had seen a really good soul that day, and that trouble taken to reach him was amply justified. A 250 years old man.
Yeah, very interesting. 1945, October 15. And there was a medical term, I think. Is this skin, Mama?
Which one?
Integ
Integument is skin.
Skin. That's what I thought. Integument is saying skin. Yeah.
Skin and bone we call, no? Those who are
very skinny, very thin. Yeah. But I wanted to see where Bansi is. Bansi is I6. So I6. Okay, it's in near Calcutta. North of Bengal, but closer to Assam almost, yeah, or closer to Bihar.
yes, Ranchi, Muzaffar,
Yeah.
Gopalganj, Chapra, Patna nearby.
Correct. So Bihar, maybe Jharkhand as well. We don't know. Bareilly, near Delhi. Yeah.
Bareilly. Yeah, Bareilly E4, Bashir Milan. Bashir
Mia,
Mia.
Mia, Mia.
Bashir Mia. Yeah. An Arab pilgrim. He is very old man, lean of body, for he eats very little. He has long finger nails, and he apparently never sleeps at night. He has some 30 or 30 to 40 disciples, both men and women. The latter in his presence being separated from the men by screen. All the men disciples have beards. Every evening, these disciples gather round Bashir Mia, and one of them, who plays a harmonium, starts singing the Persian couplet, Gunagaram, Velakin Kush, Nasiba. I am guilty, but I am fortunate. And as they listen or join in singing, the disciples slowly become ecstatic, is
Ecstatic.
ecstatic. Yeah, yeah. The men nodding their heads and breathing strangely. At certain times of the day, the disciples shout Yahoo. Bashir Mia himself has a disconcerting habit of occasionally expressing his breath with snoring sound. He keeps a public kitchen for feeding the poor. So it's 1942 March, February, 1942 March, 1942 July.
So Gunagaram, Valekin, Kush, Nasibam.
Nasibam. I am guilty, but I am fortunate.
I think harmonium is just, yeah.
Kind of that.
Harmonium in India is not the elaborate affair that one sees in some Christian chapels, but is a box about 2 feet by 1 foot by 1 foot with bellows at the back. The player squats on the ground, moves the bellows with his left hand and plays with his right hand only, and often sings as he plays, including the black and white keys. The keyboard has only 39 keys in all. So actually, harmonium is the bigger church organ, maybe. I did not know that only in India it's called the box. Okay, this is Bareilly. One more person, Jara Shah.
Jara Shah. A very good must of the Jalali type who always refused to be contacted by Baba. One day when Baidul went to him to try persuade him to come for Baba's contact, he said, the Sahib e Zaman avatar is coming, his time is near, and I will draw. Uh, okay.
I'll draw my sword and help him
Ah,
to annihilate the
nice.
unworthy. He is an old
Unworthy.
man. Yeah.
He is an old man, a typical Jalali must, who is much revered in a Bareilly and walks into anyone's house.
This also is 1942. Then Basim. Where is that? Again, let's quickly see
Basim,
where
E8.
Basim
E8.
E8.
Wasim is in Maharashtra somewhere, right?
Basim.
Rasim or
Basim.
Wasim?
Washim is there. Washim is in Maharashtra. Basim, I don't think so. Not sure.
E8. So this is here. So yeah, it is Maharashtra.
No, it is Maharashtra.
Yeah, it's the same Wasim, I think,
I think it's a
pronounced.
Washim. Yeah, yeah. It maybe Washim converts to Bashim. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bashim converts to Washim. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Lamani
Bashim.
Mama. Lamani Mama.
The
Lamani
La-
Mama.
Lamani Mama. He was well known round about Basim. Was a very old man and good must. He built a tiny but for himself on government ground and refused to vacate ever under pressure. He took Jal Samadhi by immersing himself in a well. That is to say, he voluntarily gave up his body by drowning himself in a well. This voluntary giving up of the body by advanced soul is widely recognized in India and is considered quite distinct from a suicide. This since its motives and are entirely different. So samadhi kind of, we can call it as a samadhi. Hmm. Okay,
And this
Batala.
happened in 1944,
Yeah,
July.
1944 July. Yeah, Batala D3. Lahori Baba.
Yeah, that's in Punjab. Batala is in Punjab.
Batala. Yeah. Hindu and very good must who is sometimes Salik like and sometimes Mazhub like. He's of about middle age and is almost naked save for a scrappy piece of dhoti. He lives in the sweepers colony at Batala and eats his food there. He is said to have been a commissioner in an Indian civil service and his relative have come and his relative have come several times by car to try to take him home, but he always refused to go with them. The head sweeper had some influence over the must, and it was through his help that Baba eventually contacted him. He is very restless and never stays in one place for more than a few minutes, but roams about the countryside. When Baba went to contact him for the first time, Lauri Baba walked away and was eventually run to earth at an octroi. There he sat with Baba for a few minutes and then burst out crying and walked away. On Baba's second visit, they chased him here and there for about 10 miles and eventually he was contacted in field some 5 miles from Batala. This is a good example of how difficult some musts are to catch and if they are good musts, how Baba preserves until they are contacted to his satisfaction. Yeah, date of contact is we need to go a bit up. Yeah, 1946 May 1946 May 29.
Okay, not a must. So this is a new category. Again in
Yeah,
Batala.
Sayyid Sain Shah. Not a must for he was a normal consciousness but an intimate pilgrim. He wears
Initiate pilgrim.
Initiate.
Sorry. Yeah, initiate pilgrim. Sorry. Initiate pilgrim. He wears silk clothes of all bright colors, costly shoes, a good turban, and he carries an umbrella. He seems that no one knows where he gets all these clothes from, which he often changes. In 1942, he was contacted at a railway station, and in 1945, he was found sitting near a soda water shop, and he took Baba into an empty room for contact. 1942 April, 1946 July. So if he was not must, maybe he's yeah, but kind of.
So he's actually not even on the plains. Let me just show you that initiate pilgrim. Initiate pilgrim.
So initiate pilgrim means is it before first plane or something like that? Just starting of the initiate.
So you have Salik and yeah, the third
Yeah,
one.
first
And
second plane. Yeah.
First and second or on the second, yeah.
Second plane, yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah. Name not known. Again, a lover of a god with Hawa. He is a young man who from childhood loved spiritual things and as a spiritual austerity, he sat for 12 years in a hole in the ground. When he came out, a great feast was given, and all Batala went there that day. He's still a young man, and his parents have made a special room with railings on it. No one is allowed to go beyond the railings or to touch his body. He lives in a village 8 miles from Batala. 1946 July.
So Hawa is the term that we just saw on the slide that I brought up, which is the first stage. So he's not yet in the path. So yeah, permanent relationship with the path, but not on it, but not far from it. So he has some idea of spirituality, but he's not got on the path and he's very close to it. So that's Hawa. So that soul was a Hawa soul. I mean, with Hawa. Okay, we can probably wrap up here and continue on another day. This is going to take a while. So we are still in the B.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but I think let's read at least the marked ones for sure. So maybe we will take another couple of sessions to wrap this up, and then go to what is called the additional supplement. It's called the last section. I think this is the one, right? No, this is still the. Anyway, we'll go to also the second supplement and then wrap this book up. Okay, any other points? Any other thoughts? The more I get into the detail, it's the more mind-boggling it is, right? It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two questions actually. The Bangalore ashram, is the locality is still known where it was actually in the city? And
Yes.
similarly for Ajmer. You have been to
Ajmer, I
Ajmer,
don't
right?
know. Bangalore ashram, yes. It is closer to where today's golf course is, which is the Karnataka, the KGA golf course near Cunningham Road, right? So that's central to North Bangalore. And the building was traced, and I think now it's demolished. The golf links building, the outskirts of, I mean, the outer environment of that structure was used for the early days of the ashram. But I think everybody remembers the photograph, right? There are photographs of the thatched roof, which was the Bangalore Mast ashram.
Oh, I haven't seen probably. So share when you have time on the book. Yeah.
Sure. I think maybe it might be on Google as well.
This is different from the Vidhi ashram, no?
Yes, it's different from that. Yes. Yes, I found something which I'll bring up. So if you see this is Bangalore, the thatched structure made out of mats. And of course, there are more musts. There's one more view of the thatched structure behind, most likely Bangalore. Yeah.
There are many stories. Money was also there with Baba during the Bangalore stay. That's what the women Mandli was also with Baba
And I think
during
there is
his stays in
also
Bangalore. I don't know about this period, but yes, there was a story of a bird who got hurt and all that
injured.
and injured, and money and the women Mandli took care of the bird, and it was not able to walk or whatever, and slowly it recovered. And during one meeting, the bird was bought, and he just walked towards Baba, towards his feet, and just dropped dead.
Yeah, I think
Mukti.
I read. Yeah, I think
You
I
heard
read
this
about
story?
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
Amazing.
fine.
Yeah, this is also a famous photograph. I think I'm not sure if it's Bangalore, but yeah,
Hyderabad.
no, that's Hyderabad
This
center.
one, the one with Baba is folded pajamas.
Yeah, this one.
This is actually during the construction of the Baba's room,
Oh,
if
okay.
I'm
So
not
this is
wrong.
Mehrabad.
Just read if anything is written here. When Baba's
Uh,
room was being constructed on the Samadhi.
no, I think it's just a random use of the photograph. I don't
Yeah, it's
think
a
the
random.
text and
But
photograph are
this
linked.
is that. Yeah.
Okay, this is that. Yeah, rolled up pajamas, bucket in
Yeah.
hand with some
Because Baba participated
sort of
himself during his construction.
construction.
There are many other pictures.
Interesting. Great. So
Yes, last fortnight they had a meeting in Bangalore. There was a session which explained all the details about Baba's visit to Bangalore multiple times. He
correct.
had come to Bangalore multiple times, maybe
Oh, you
six.
mean the Jayanagar big event had one of the
Yes,
sessions?
I just went there for about an hour and then caught this session on Bangalore.
Raghupati ji, is it?
No. It was somebody from Chennai who talked on that with slides and dates shown and all that.
So we should try to get a copy of that. And
Get
was
that
that
PPT.
yeah,
Get that PPT
live
and see.
streamed? Was that live streamed or videoed? I don't know.
No, it was live stream. I think it will be available.
On
If you
YouTube.
contact some Narmada or somebody,
Yeah.
they have the
No,
full
maybe
copy
we
of.
can ask him to make a presentation to us sometime.
Sure, that
Plan
also
it
we
like
can
that. Next
So
month.
it was a detailed episode explaining Baba's visit to Bangalore.
So
Was
we'll
it
tell them to
Sai?
cover in 1 hour. 1 hour.
Maybe
Was it
40. He took only about 40 minutes or so presentation.
Okay.
interesting? Okay, so we'll wrap up with that on that note. And Mama Ji, safe travels. And
you.
if you
I
don't
will
get
try
sleep,
to catch up by recordings. And
yeah.
if
So if you, I was saying,
possible, once in a while, I will make an
jump
attempt
in.
to come
Yeah. So
live.
if you don't get sleep or get up really early and
Yes.
feel like a coffee, grab a coffee and sit in front of your phone. So have a safe journey and then see you around. And I think we'll catch up next week to the rest.
Jai Baba.
Yeah.
Jai
Kama, Jai Baba, Mamaji, wish you all the best. Kamaji is
Thank
still there? Any
No,
word
he
from him?
dropped off. He dropped off.
He dropped off? Okay.
The elusive must.
Mamita ji,
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba,
Hanji.
any parting words from you?
Stay with Baba.
Wow.
Wow.
तो
We
सुनार
thought-
की एक लोहार की ऐसा बोलते हैं हम लोग।
Yes.
I
Jai
thought
Baba.
she will show today's painting.
Oh, yes,
I
I think
sent it.
sent something. Yeah. Let me bring that up before we wrap up, please. Sorry. Um, mm,
Jai Baba.
okay, this is a lot of greenery today, huh?
Oh,
Lovely. Happiest is he who expects no happiness from others. Love delights and glorifies in giving, not receiving. So learn to love and give and not to expect anything from others. You can keep only one beloved in your hearts, although you can and may keep many in your mind. Meher Baba. Wonderful.
Very
Jai Baba.
serious.
Thank you.
Ask
That little girl is me, okay?
yeah.
Nice.
So
Very
you
good.
have brought the fact of heart being only one and mind is in wilderness with so many. Yes, in illusion all the
I
time.
have come not to teach, but to awaken.
Yeah, that's also visible through the
So
doors.
lovely.
Yeah,
Awake.
Mamita
but she's
जी
inserted
इसका
a.
टाइल बनाना चाहिए।
हाँ,
हाँ जी बनाएंगे आपके मकान में एक ये आपके लिए मैं टाइल बना
हाँ,
के
आपका जब बंगला बनेगा मेरा बाद में है। ठीक है, बहुत सुंदर लगेगा।
जैसे बाबा की इच्छा आई एम गोइंग टू डू इट एवरी डे लेट्स सी हाउ फार आई कैन डू
and then get them to Mehrabad.
Yeah, I'm bringing it, no, for Baba's
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
How many I will finish
So
it?
we'll-
Correct.
Correct. You will permit us to take pictures.
Of course. This is yours, Baba is ours. You are Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Lovely. So have a
Jai
great
Baba.
week
God
ahead,
bless.
everybody. And oh, you're on the move. You're on a bus.
I'm reaching. No, I'm at the stop. I'm waiting for the bus.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye
Stay
bye.
safe.
next 6
Jai
months.
Baba.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai
Bye bye.
Yeah, you're saying
Jai
something,
Baba,
Ravika?
Mamaji. All the
Jai Baba.
Bye. Bye.